All right. I'd like to welcome everybody to the December edition of the Tips and Tricks SIG. We'll have our open forum and then we'll break into our topics for the evening, which I emailed out late today. And I apologize to everybody for having these notices come late. My schedule has been a little off kiltered from death in the family, so I've been kind of catching up on things. So, that being said, let's open up the floor with the first question of the evening. Anyone have any questions for the group?
We already did that.
Well, yeah, we kind of did a little impromptu before the meeting, a meeting before the meeting, but that was talking about Linux, which
Yeah,
is
which
not
isn't
part of
this.
tips and tricks. So that's outside the meeting. So back to our questions for the floor. Anybody got any problems? Anybody buy anything that they're trying to figure out how to use? No? Okay, Wayne, yes.
Yeah, we recently closed on a townhouse. We're going to be moving, and the homeowners association there pays for the internet. It's supplied by Xfinity. So I picked up the equipment the other day. Today I tried to get the modem working, and of course it said go to your Xfinity uh, app, which I did, and then it said to put in the 12-digit MAC address, which it didn't work. I fiddle around, and of course we still have Xfinity where we're living right now in our other house, and so I finally ended up getting on the phone to do it. And of course their new box, I can't since I don't own it. I had to have them actually set up the SSID and the password.
Hmm.
Where I, on my own modem, I can do all that from my computer.
Okay.
So
So
that was
because
a,
you're working with the HOA's account, you were not able to get permissions to go in and set up this new modem?
no, it's their modem box that they've got. That's I don't know. It's still my name is on some sort of an account,
Oh, I see. Okay.
but but
With
but
uh, with Xfinity, the default is they own the equipment, and so
yes,
there are some things you can do, some things you can't.
correct.
And I one of the things that they're notorious for having difficulty with is setup.
Yep.
Just trying to make the right connections, both the gateway and the set top box, the DVR. What used to be the DVR. Now it's just sort of a cloud DVR. Those two items, I have a very high rate of failure. They had to try 3 different set top boxes for me before
Wow.
they found one that could actually be set up.
Well,
And that
I
was with a
got
technician right there.
right. Well, I got the TV thing working with the box. They've got a
Yeah,
box
yeah,
for
yeah.
the TV, but I had a lot of trouble trying to get their their controller to actually work on the TV. But I finally got that working today. But
Okay.
I didn't have to have a technician with me help me with that. But I sure as heck did with the modem. Now the other interesting thing is both the 2.4 and the 5.0 are all built into this thing, so you can't separate them out.
Yeah, it decides for you what goes on 2.4 and what goes on 5.
Yeah,
Yeah, see, if you had full access to the cable modem, to the router portion of it, some systems give you the ability. Like mine is made by ASUS. I have the choice of combining the two and letting the router let you pick, auto pick the frequency, or you can separate it out into two separate SSIDs. It's more convenient to have them paired together and have it auto sense. So you have one SSID name to worry about.
Well, this since it's owned by Xfinity, I don't have that choice. Now the modem I have here at my
See,
home, I own the modem, so I've set it all up
right.
with
See,
separate SSIDs.
and I have Comcast here in Florida. I own my cable modem and my router. I don't have any equipment from them.
Yeah.
But the customers that I support, Comcast and Frontier, the other company that puts in routers down here, typically put the user ID and password on a sticky note or a label on the side of the modem when they deliver it to your house.
Yeah. Well, that was on the bottom of the box that I got, but I didn't want to use that. I want to use because I'm using the same SSID at the townhouse that I'm have at home. So when I go back and forth, I don't have to screw around changing passwords and SSIDs. It confused the heck out of the system when I was trying to chat with them. They kept wanting me to get rid of my account here at my home, which I'm not doing until we move.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
I had overlapping accounts at one point, and it drove them nuts.
It confused the heck out of the chat because you're dealing with a computer. You're not dealing with an actual person.
Yeah, but it
Or
usually figures out that it's in over its head.
I think I
Yeah,
found
when
that
that
you have to fumble the AI chat or the chat that they have, just so it suddenly goes, oh, you have to talk to a person now. And so, I'm trying to get past the chat because the
right.
person, the tech person, but they use the chat as your gateway to get to a person. You have to go through the chat first. It's irritating at points because the chat's not going to solve the problem.
No.
You're wasting time. But Xfinity or Comcast does make you go through that routine.
No, I actually called them on the phone, their tech
Mhm.
service, and
Yeah.
actually got to an actual tech. Unfortunately, of course, this tech is I don't know where, probably over in Bombay or whatever. And I have a heck of a time understanding these foreign people when they talk. My hearing aids make it really difficult.
Well, it's their accents tend to be thick and heavy,
Yep.
They can
and
be.
and I have found that if you can't work with that person because you can't understand them, and you explain to them that their accent, you don't like insult them. You just basically say your accent's so heavy, I cannot understand you. You can possibly have them give you to a different person that might have a different accent or a little
Yeah.
less of a thick accent. But good luck with that. But I think that's more the politically correct way of putting it is talk about their accents.
I don't even use the term accent. I just say I'm having difficulty understanding you.
This is true. I guess I was being a little more
Yep.
conceit, you know.
Because they'll know why you can't understand them.
Does
I
any
what was really neat was when I called tech support. I think was AARP. Their site was having all kinds of wonky problems because they were having a big membership drive, and apparently they'd overloaded the site. You couldn't enter renewal payments. You'd enter the payment and it would keep cycling through. Sorry, we can't accept the payment. And you go through several different ways of getting in there. And so I called up their support people, and I could hear them, but they couldn't hear me. And I've had this happen a couple of places. Fortunately, not with Comcast. Comcast actually, I find usually their chatbot works okay for me. Because I usually have unusual enough problems that it will say, "Well, we better get you to a live agent," but it's a live chat agent.
I finally got so frustrated. I said, I'm getting off the chat and I'm going to call a real person. So I
Yeah.
bombed out of it.
And how did that work out? Did it work?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I turned off the chat and I called, the tech support on phone.
And it
So
was better.
were they
Took me
able
an
to
hour to
line
get
up
this.
your login, I mean, your SSID and the pass, your SSID that you wanted and put that in there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
But I couldn't do it. The tech had to do that.
got it.
Both the SSID and the password. So
And the passwords. So that,
yeah.
okay.
So it's the same as I have at my home here. So I've got the same, on two different systems, one at home and one over at the townhouse.
Yeah, when there's different equipment, they don't like to key them to the same account.
No, they're two separate accounts.
Well, with two separate accounts, they're definitely not going to want to use the same SSID
So what
and the
kind of
same
service are
password.
you going to get? Did you do a speed test on the new place?
Yes, I did. I did on my I did a speed test. I had my iPad with me, and well, they're only giving me 500 gigabits with this because this is part of through the homeowners association.
500 is pretty good though.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
got
better than I did.
330 something on my iPad.
Yeah, it's better than I've been getting. I get like about I think 300. I don't pay much for it, and it's more than I need.
Well,
800 square feet it covers.
this here with the internet and the TV
Hmm.
is all part of our homeowners
Yeah,
annual or monthly fee. So
yeah,
I don't get a bill for it, but that's pretty good service.
yeah. It
See,
sounds like it's got good specs.
what bothers me about my Comcast is the upload speed is so slow.
Yeah.
That's why I've been considering FiOS.
I want the faster upload speed. Plus, Comcast in Florida has a cap of 1 terabyte per month on your account of combined uploaded and downloaded data. So,
Ooh.
Wow.
I purchased cloud storage with the intent of using it for backup. And I don't have enough bandwidth in a month to back up my data and not overflow my limit.
Thank you, Drew. That is the exact same perspective that I've had with this data cap. And when I've talked to them in the store and I was selling, or they were selling me on their package and I'm talking to them and they say, yeah, but we do have that data cap and there's no big deal. Nobody goes over that. And I said, I would. If I decided to upload all my content to the cloud, as Drew is talking about, we would blow past that 1 terabyte so quickly.
And they would also like to reclassify you as a business account if you do that.
Right, right. We've had this discussion before about that, and luckily, that's their perspective. Is nobody
I
needs it.
I think Ed Keating of Northwest Suburban keeps arguing this with Comcast.
Right.
I would switch to Frontier, which is our FiOS provider, in a heartbeat if I wasn't on the TV side reliant on TiVo boxes. I'm a original TiVo customer from 25 years ago, and I don't want to disconnect the Comcast cable cards and then not be able to use my boxes on Frontier.
I have TiVo, but it's over the air. Over the air, it doesn't care. I do also have a Sling box that used to work with AT&T DSL, but I don't know what it would work with now, if anything.
Slingbox, I don't know if they're compatible with anything anymore.
I don't either. If I were doing it all over again, if it weren't for the fact that the next gen TV isn't available, not fully available, I would probably go with something from Silicon Dust, HD Home Run. Gives you a lot more control over what you're doing.
I don't think that. Well, my current Silicon Dust tuners do not pull in the new next-gen signals.
Not the encrypted ones,
No.
because nobody does. They blew it on that entire deal.
Right.
The broadcasters got greedy and they blew it. So now what looks as though next gen TV will fail.
Does anyone use OTA signals to get their TV? Just two of us. I can't see any other hands here, so I know two of us do.
I hardly get a chance to watch TV anymore, but when I do,
Aldo, you're muted, Aldo. I can't hear you.
No, not me.
Not
No
you.
music.
Okay. All right. So you popped in. Okay. So I still have an antenna. As a matter of fact, I put a new TV in the household that has the new ATC3 tuner in it. And my wife says it's going to go in the garbage in a minute.
Okay.
She's yelling off in the back screen. I don't want to know what's going on. You can't get your show?
The TV has been updating for 15 minutes. I can't even get out of
Oh,
the
it's
TV.
updating for 15 minutes.
Don't buy this TV.
Why the TV's got to update when you got to watch them?
your TV updates.
A
It's
TV
not
is
just your
updated.
computers.
Yes, TV does an update. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you, sweetheart. Go in the other room. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Anyways,
TVs.
it does have the new tuner in it, and it does pull in Chicago market. There's 5 next generation broadcasts, but because of the distance I am from the city, I can only get 2 of those 5 currently until I move my antenna around to get better signal off of it.
I live on top of a hill, and nothing in Boston is more than about 10 miles from anything. But the problem is there's always a hill in the way. But living on top of a hill, there aren't
Shoot.
these hills in the way. So I get pretty much everything.
How many channels do you get in next gen? Do you know?
I don't know about next gen because I don't have the tuners.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I had next gen, I'd have a choice of about maybe 8 or 9 around here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're heavily saturated with stuff.
Oh, same here. When it got done doing the scanning, it said I had 115 channels to choose from.
Yeah,
Oh,
I have like
wow.
about 84.
That's just crazy. A
In-
lot
in
of
90
home shopping network ones.
A lot of them are Spanish too, if you know.
Yeah, they're foreign language. Yes.
There are some.
Yeah, and there's other languages on there besides foreign, but that's kind of nice. You get some different mix if you feel like infusing yourself in some other culture. Um, I was wondering if anyone bought anything during Black Friday that should be brought to the attention of the group.
Two
Well,
things.
Go
Go
Bob
ahead, Drew.
or
Drew.
Drew? Go ahead.
I bought. I'm waiting for a report card, but I bought for my niece's son a sonic toothbrush that has a bristle pattern that is the shape of an entire mouth, and it brushes your upper and lower teeth all simultaneously.
What?
And you just have to move it a little tiny bit in a little concentric circles. And in 30 seconds, supposedly, it gives you a complete, the equivalent of a 2-minute brushing, because it's doing your uppers and lowers at the same time.
Wow. Inside and out? Both directions?
Both,
Wow.
Yep. And they make it for kids and they make it for adults. They have different size mouthpieces.
Well, next, well, I guess the ultimate is let us know what the dentist has to say
Yeah.
when they go in for a checkup. And if the dentist says they're doing a good job, then it does the job.
Right. Well, it all depends upon how good a job you're doing with the single bristle brush in the first place. If you're not a good brusher, or your son, who's 3 or 4 years old, is not a good brusher, Switching to a whole mouth brushing system might, at any cost, be an upgrade.
Mhm.
And of course, if you're too sleepy or you come home drunk on a Friday night, you can just stick this thing in your mouth and you don't have to worry about,
This sounds good. Okay, so we'll find out. Bob, you were going to add?
Two things I did, one of which was a physical thing and the other of which was software. First of all, the physical thing, what I'm sitting in right now is a new office chair.
Yay!
It's a Boss brand, and the old one, the airlift decided it had it, and I don't think it's replaceable. And also the main platform of the chair, the bottom of the chair, the front end was kind of broken.
Okay.
So that was causing me literally leg pain. So I've got this new one, and I ordered online with free shipping, $144, and it's actually pretty good.
Good.
Boss is a good brand, and this one I could have assembled it. I had to assemble it. I could have assembled it with arms, but I decided to leave them off. I'll leave the arms for a time when I may need them. I will be moving to another place perhaps in the spring, and there may be a different arrangement there. The other thing, Macrim Reflect, their new edition. It turns out if you had an older Macrim Reflect 8 perpetual paid license, they're offering a ridiculously cheap upgrade. It's basically 1/4 the usual price, so 4 licenses at $12.50 each, and they say it is perpetual upgrade. I don't know if that means that you have a perpetual renewal at the same price only for that version, or whether when they get a new version, it's still going to be that same price for the upgrade. That would be a very good deal because they're apt to raise their subscription prices.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But anyway, Macrim Reflect X, they're calling it now. It has a new file extension, so a new arrangement of the archives. But you can still continue using the old ones, and the old ones can be read by the new one. It's just anything new you do can't be read by the old one. So it's supposedly an open source archive type now, which it wasn't before. It used to be proprietary. So being open source doesn't necessarily make it readable by everything. If you want something free, you can always use easiest to do. But I thought it was a pretty good deal because it beat the Black Friday deal by about 50%.
Okay. Anyone else get anything on Black Friday? Harry Hauser.
So I had mentioned to some of you good folks a month ago, I think when we last met, that I was looking at TP-Link's security cameras for the house product line called TAPO, T-A-P-O. And the reason I was doing that research was because my cameras, both in New York and in Florida, were from Samsung. And they were about 6 years old, something of that sort. But the app, I think, was going to be upgraded, but in any event, would no longer support the cameras. So I had asked, I think Tim and a few others weighed in on the fact that TP-Link is a Chinese company, and there had been some security concerns about their routers and all of that. And the general consensus was it's less of an issue with these cameras. So I bit the bullet, went on sale, and replaced the 4 in New York. And yesterday replaced the 4 here in Florida. So far, so good. There's slightly better resolution. To be very honest with you, I don't exactly know the difference between 1080 and 2K. The textbook, I understand the difference. Do I see it? Do I see the great improvement in 2K over 1080? I don't know. We'll see. If there's an intruder working towards the camera, then maybe I will see the improvement. And I will come back and tell you I was wrong in scoffing about it. But that was my purchase.
Well, there's two things that will affect image quality. One is the monitor that you're using, and the other is the actual amount of bandwidth there is available.
And the monitor being the resolution or the capability of that monitor? Or
Yeah, I'm using my phone.
Yeah, on a phone, there is no difference between full HD and 2K, regardless of what Apple says.
That's my early sense. But like I say, down the road, I may come back and say, remember back in December of 24 when I said that?
Apple phones do it.
I do have to say the setup was as easy as they say. The manual is a little three-sided, maybe a 3x4 piece of paper folded over. But it turned out, if you do it step by step, it was easy to set up the first four, and then a few days later, when I came back to Florida, set up the other four. So I have to give them credit. And the English was coherent English, so I have a feeling it was written, stateside, not in China.
Thank you, Harry. Anyone else buy anything? Me. It seems like I'm the only shopper around here. Okay, as you heard, I bought a TV. And to retire my old DLP TV that's like 25 years old or more. Got a long life out of that one. That was one thing. And then the other thing I did buy was a subscription to Disney Plus, because they were running a deal on Black Friday, $3 a month, which was pretty darn good price for Disney, because that's normally like 20, I believe, or more. So I got that Disney Plus package. I didn't buy much else. Anyone else want to chime in? No. Okay. Well, anyone else got any questions for the open forum? Pete, do you have any follow-up for us for things you were doing out there in Hawaii on your equipment? You were having some equipment issues, weren't you? Hopefully Pete can hear me.
My voice.
You broke up there, Pete. Ooh, Pete's got really bad connection.
I've got problems on all the boxes because of the war in the Mideast.
Uh-huh.
So every about 4 minutes, you don't pop out. In between. So,
Oh, we lost Pete. He's got really bad backup problems over there. Too bad. Okay, shall we go into the topics that I sent out to everybody?
the Army must think I'm talking to spies.
Oh, you're back, Pete.
Just drop you out.
And now you were talking. So you were saying what, you have problems on all your boxes?
Yeah, it's a network. It's the over-the-air coming into the islands that's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not local on any particular PC or Linux box. It's all of them.
Gotcha.
Which means it's systematic across the entire island, and there's nothing the heck I can do about it.
Well, you can get your own cable and run it back to the States.
I ain't that rich.
Buy one of Elon's satellites.
All right, sell off the excess bandwidth to other people.
Okay, I sent out a bunch of...
Not having anything that is... Okay, we'll try this again. Not having anything that's price sensitive or anything like that that's going to cost me money if it goes down a little bit I'm not worried.
That's
Okay.
sounds like the Hawaiian way.
Hmm.
Hang loose.
Hang loose.
Hang loose. All right. I sent out a bunch of topics in our email. I'm sorry people didn't have enough time to review them or go through them, but I hope you guys could take a few minutes to look through and see if there's anything in there that you'd like us to talk about tonight. Yes, Dennis, are you waving goodbye?
No, one of the topics was how to keep your TV from spying on you. I think it was toward the bottom of the list.
Okay, that's a good one because I got a new TV. It's going to spy on me like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what that has to say. All right. Oh, look. Sign in email. What the heck? That does not make sense. I'm sorry. I clicked on that link and it took me to a sign-in log, secure signing in. So that's not working. Let me try this again.
Just a minute here. Down toward the bottom. Your HDT. All smart TVs collect personal data.
All right, I got it. I got it this time. Sorry, it must have been an operator error here.
How to turn off smart TV snooping features.
Okay, you name it. They all seem to collect it. And you have no choice on these things. When you're signing in, you have to accept all their EULAs
Mm-hmm.
that they put out there. And there's loads of them that you have to go through. I couldn't believe how many EULAs there were. So let's see. All new sets are smart. Yes, they are. And they all got the big names on there.
Wait, there was a sentence that you passed that I have
Okay.
to scan up a page, kind of in the middle, right to the middle paragraph. And your smart, the streaming apps on your set may collect data on you, even if you don't ever sign in.
Yep.
Yep.
God.
And your devices, your streaming devices may be doing that.
Right. I mean, a lot of times they're monitoring, what your download speeds are. It could be what you're watching. They could send that telemetry back to somebody. How long you're watching? Are you using a specific app or not, or a different app? They like
also want to know how many faces are on the TV, so they can charge the advertisers right.
right, and advertisings too is a big part of the TVs now. Is they are streaming ads to you, which underwrites the cost of the TV and increases the profits of the corporations. Always profits are good, isn't it?
Now you go down a couple of paragraphs, they talk about automatic content recognition,
Right.
ACR. And that is used for recommendations. But the data can also be used for advertising, targeted
Right.
ads.
Now, mind you, a lot of this is a carryover from the cable TV era. When you subscribe to cable TV, they collected data from you all day long.
They still do.
Yeah,
But
they still do.
Vizio had the TVs back in 2017, which did collect data and did not ask for consent.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're a little bit more careful because they don't want to get into the same trouble.
I don't see many Vizio TVs out there.
I don't know which brand mine is.
I'm
But
just
it
saying
is
when I was out at
Oh, I know what brand mine is. Mine's LG.
LG. Okay.
Vizio is offered, but was offered by Best Buy.
Yeah, I have an old Vizio myself. Yeah.
Vizio also was the house brand for Costco, and they now switched to a slightly lower price, lower quality line. I don't remember the name. Hisense.
Hisense is a Chinese company. just like TCL is.
Yeah.
And, Hisense is trying to make inroads by coming out with very inexpensive products, jammed with a lot of technology.
And also, of course, Best Buy's famous Insignia brand.
Right.
Amazon Fire has its own brand of TV.
You can also reset something called the advertiser's ID, which companies use to
Yeah.
compile information about changing the ID periodically can reduce tracking. Advertiser's ID. I never heard of that one.
I think Google has begun to give you a choice of changing or turning off something that ties in with advertiser ID. It may be a different concept from these TVs.
Right.
So now there are instructions for each TV as to how to turn things off. I have one that's an Android TV.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Android is, you mean the OS is Android.
The OS is Android, the brand is LG.
Right.
And also my TiVo streaming device is Android TV.
I see. Scroll down or click to a link to go right to your own set smart TV platform. So you can, I see, you can go down. This is a hyperlink that's set up. So if you're using Fire TV, you can click here and they'll tell you some of the ins and outs of Fire TVs.
Yeah, Fire TVs, and then the Google branded or Android branded,
Right.
or the operating system is. Google uses your account settings
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, and
Right.
that's where you can set up whether or not they use the advertiser ID. So you can reset the advertising ID or delete the advertising ID data. That's what I do periodically. It's under device preferences.
Repeat that last thing you said, Bob. You can turn.
You can delete the advertising ID data, which means the data that's used for tracking and serving up targeted ads. Periodically, you can purge that. And generally, it's under settings, device preferences.
In the manual, or did you find that online somewhere?
That's in the article, but I also do know that I've done it. I look through my Google account from time to time and go through the privacy stuff. They always send you emails saying you should do it.
Right. And they're always updating their privacy agreements, so which means you got to go in there and look at them once in a while to see what they changed or see if you need to opt out on something that was not there before.
And there's also, with the Hisense TVs, there's enhanced viewing. And then we come down to mine. LG Smart TVs use the WebOS platform. I chose that one because it wasn't as tied in with some of the others like Roku. It didn't have their apps. I liked the variety of apps better.
You said something about the Hisense and the enhanced. Oh, I see that further in the article.
Yeah.
About the 2023. Do you know anything? What is that enhanced viewing?
It's probably a similar thing to the enhanced viewing on 2023 models. That I think is a Google TV thing.
Okay.
They say they don't use ACR, but Hisense does, but pure Android won't. I don't know whether mine does.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, with the WebOS, they tell you what you can do. LG does have ACR, so you have to click on viewing information.
What is ACR?
That's the content.
Automatic content recognition.
Ah.
Yeah. And there's an aspect privacy policy. Aspect is ACR.
They may tell you that, they want to recognize your content because they may make adjustments to the video settings or the audio settings depending upon whether you're watching a fast motion movie with or something with loud bangs in it, or a musical, or they look
Yeah.
at the content. And the problem is there potential for you to get caught in a situation where you're sharing your sons or daughters or sisters or brothers account because you've got streaming accounts, and who's watching what content. They're collecting what you're watching.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here because it is in this article, because they do break it down based off of brand TVs, and you can scroll through that particular brand like Roku, Fire Stick, whatever, to be able to turn on and off the specific settings that they talk about here. I think this was a very good, well-written article.
I have one Amazon TV, and they take up most of the screen with advertising.
Oh boy.
I really don't like the way they don't let you change it at all.
And that's on Amazon TV?
Yeah, Amazon, a lot of people try and install what they call their own launcher, which is when the Amazon TV turns on, instead of going to the default advertising page, it goes to a list of your own.
Mm-hmm.
And people come out with these hacks to put in their own menu, and then Amazon updates the software to block the person from doing it. And they want you to watch advertising.
Wow.
The number of apps that I have on my screen, they only give you enough room on the screen to have 6 favorite apps. If you have more than 6 apps that you use, more than 6 streaming sites or your web, whatever you choose to have as your apps, you only get 6 of them to put on the main screen, and then they take up the rest of it.
And then you have to scroll through the rest, right?
You have to go to a submenu to see the rest of your apps. And they use up most of the screen for advertising. If you're not watching a show, they're advertising, content.
Gotcha.
Does anybody know about Pluto TV?
What about Pluto?
Pluto TV is free.
It's a free streaming service. Anyone here use Pluto TV? I use it.
I just downloaded it today, so I don't know much about it.
I mean, Pluto TV, it's kind of like tuning into, well, it's free TV service. You get a lot of old shows in there, like the Munsters and
I saw an old Doctor Who.
Oh, that's in there too. There's a lot of old TV shows that are in there, the Petticoat Junction and things that are on constant cycles through. The Addams Family has got their own channel. Godzilla's got its own channel. And the list goes.
There seems to be, you can sign in or not sign in. I'm not sure.
You don't have to sign in. I don't sign in on any of my devices, but you do get the annoying pop-up when you first start the app that says sign in or not sign in, and you just choose not, and it just takes you right to Pluto and all their channels. And then, like I said, you go down through a channel, you pick a channel, and then you're subject to watch whatever is broadcast at that time. There is some on-demand stuff in there too. I've not played around with it, but it's nice to see you get your own Star Trek channels and ones for each one of the Star Trek. So you could have there's one channel for just Deep Space Nine, and another for Voyager, and another channel for Next Generation. So each one of them will have an episode is playing at that time, and you can just jump around.
Are you watching those on your computer then?
You could tablet, computer, phone, whatever your device is going to be.
Okay.
And it's free. You do have to, be subjected to ads. Their ads there's quite a few ads that they have on there, but it's nice when, like if I'm standing in line or something like that, and I just need something to take my mind away from whatever it is I'm doing just for a couple of minutes. You just pull up Pluto TV and watch some stupid program just for a few minutes. It takes your mind away from where you're at. Could be watching the Munsters. Oh, it's fun to watch the Munsters,
I'm in the middle of rewatching the original Addams Family series.
There you go. And they're on there. The original Addams, the black and white ones, are on there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I find those to be pretty amusing to watch. The early ones. Interesting that the Munsters was more popular than the Addams Family, yet the Addams Family is more popular now than the Munsters. Kind of a flip-flop on that.
Well, Roku is similar to Pluto, I guess. Except I have a stick that's plugged in for it.
Roku is a device. Pluto would be an app you put on Roku. And it's the gateway to all their channels that they have to offer. All their 100 and some odd channels, whatever it is that they got. I don't know how many channels are on Pluto.
No, Roku has tons of programs just like Pluto.
Okay, I don't have Roku, so I don't know that.
And you just have to have a USB and a power connection for the stick. And I've had it for years and years. They just keep upgrading it, and I can also take it through my phone. So that takes you, gives you some ability to not even need the TV on.
Right. So it says here that Pluto TV has over 250 live and linear channels. Linear is what I was getting to, because you're going into a program that's already running. It's not like an on-demand service. So you could queue up right in the middle of a Munsters episode.
Yeah, but you can click on demand. It's one of the menu items. There's live and there's demand. And in the demand, it's just tons of programs.
Right.
It is strange to see live TV because you can't stop it, you can't pause it.
It is strange.
So you think live TV is going to just go away?
Is what going to go away?
Broadcast live TV?
Yeah.
It might.
I mean, most people, if you switch over to streaming, what's the big deal if you watch your favorite TV show Tuesday night at 8 o'clock or Wednesday night at 8 o'clock? You stream it the next day.
One problem is where are you going to get your news, especially your local news.
Right.
Way too many people these days don't even use regular news outlets. They are getting they're getting all their information from social media, and politically that's how we got to here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, because I am a subscriber to over-the-air channels. I use it when I'm traveling in my camper. I always have an antenna on. I pull up and watch local news, as Bob was saying. That's probably the reason that we would travel with an antenna on a TV, is mainly for local news and what's going on in the world. And then occasionally just something to watch. But I still embrace it. My wife still does. But I could see many people have drifted away from it because it's no longer the norm.
Well, it's just like FM radio went over to streaming on the internet. They simulcast that way. I a lot of content from local TV is doing the same, especially news. They will have you click in with a phone or a computer, and you can watch the broadcast as it's happening. It started with weather, and it branched out into the news.
Mhm. Dennis, you picked this topic. Was there a reason you picked the privacy topic?
Well, as I mentioned, I have a Vizio, so I have some old TVs. So I was thinking about, buying a new TV. So it kind of struck me as something I should look at the security privacy aspect before I buy something.
You know, when you're shopping for a TV, there are so many factors to bring into the mix. And what you had brought up there is just one of the factors on buying a TV. And you're going to basically take your head and want to put it in a blender because there's just too many variables when you're shopping for a TV. One is each brand has multiple lines. So, what quality do you want? And within the quality range, then you got multiple units for that particular, you know, uh, segment, if you will. That is to say, do you want an micro LED? You want an OLED? You want a HD one? You want a UHD? Blah blah blah. But then you settle in on a UHD, and then you find out there's like 10 different models that they make, but just by that manufacturer. Then you go, start looking at different manufacturers, and you find similar setups where you got all these different ones. The last thing you can consider is their privacy and security and what OS they're running on there, even though that's basically what you're going to get is whatever they choose. I don't know. I found this to be very difficult. There was too many variables.
Okay.
And you wind up just settling on accepting parts of it.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I was looking at when I chose WebOS over the others was privacy and what they did with advertising.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you might want to consider going online and go to Consumer Reports. That might give you some additional information as to what to look for and what to skip.
Right. Now, again, you could also circle back to this article we just had, which gave you some good pointers on how to turn off some of these data collection schemes that the companies are doing. And that, when you're out shopping for a TV, do you bring that in the mix? And, well, it's got all this stuff that it collects, but I can turn it all off. So you just made them equal to the rest of the TVs. So how are you going to shop? Quality?
There's also the question of how much stuff do you want to have to turn off?
Right.
And how easy is it to turn it off? Again, with the WebOS TVs, it's a little easier. And
Right.
with Google, it's easier than it is with some of the others.
And remember, this is the biggest data collector there is your phone.
Yeah, especially if it's Apple.
Right.
No, Android does a lot of that too.
Android does a lot too.
It just does it through various apps.
Right. So, Dennis, what are you thinking about? What brand?
Well, my wife is a big Costco user, so Costco seems to carry a lot of LGs and Samsungs.
They do.
But I don't want to limit myself to those necessarily, but I really haven't investigated it that much, but I just realized that privacy is one of the issues that's around. Yeah.
Right. And it's
Do you need a physical new screen, or are you just wanting to convert to a smart TV? Because if you have a good working TV, like let's say you have a nice plasma screen that you really like, but it's not a smart TV, you could supplement. You could put an Android TV box on, or a Fire Stick or a Roku, and keep your TV.
Well, I don't have the biggest TV I have is like a 42 inch. So I was also looking to get a bigger TV.
So you're looking to upgrade as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Costco's guarantees are super. I'm not pushing Costco, but that's a nice factor they add, right? They add on several years.
5 years.
Oh, yeah,
5 years.
right.
They're giving you on TVs that you buy right now. 5-year warranty. Wow. That's pretty good.
I mean, televisions last quite a bit, but if there's a lemon, um, it'll show up certainly within the period that they guarantee.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely.
yeah, well, I got my Vizio from Costco, and I did have a problem. After several years, I did have a problem because the TV is right where the stairs are. I go up and down the stairs, and the controls are on one side of the TV. So I got into a habit of, to shut the TV off instead of using the remote control. I'm walking up the stairs, so I'll just hit the button on the side of the TV. I did that for years, and the buttons stopped working.
Hmm.
They came out and they fixed it, no charge. I mean, it was a good deal.
That's pretty good. And that's the way it should be.
Mm.
And also their telephone concierge service. You can call 11 o'clock at night and get somebody, and they seem really knowledgeable. They are looking it up and reading to you from a manual, but even so, it's a couple of times with different products that concierge service has been fabulous. No extra charge. I feel I'm sounding like a Costco commercial. Sorry about that.
As I was just there today, and I saw that they had on display, I think it was a LG 65-inch TV that they like. I think it must have been an open box or return item or something like that. $300.
Whoa. Wow.
But that was again a display model. So you gotta, kind of look around. Just so you know, Dennis, that was the one in St. Charles. You could drive there tomorrow and go pick it up. I think it was Samsung or LG. I'm not sure which one it was, but it was a nice TV. Really. That was probably a $900 or more TV. Who knows? Anyways, again, we're not trying to be an ad for Costco, but we can't help it because many of us are members.
But here's their address and phone number just in case.
Pete's a big Costco fan.
Yeah, out here in the middle of the Pacific, I got two choices. I've got Amazon and Costco. Because otherwise I got to take a flight to Honolulu to get Best Buy. So that adds $200 right to the price of anything in a whole day. So it's Amazon or Costco.
Okay. And what do you find?
Walmart. Maybe Walmart.
And how do you find between the two? Do you seem to be buying more stuff from either one of those two, Pete, or between Costco and Amazon?
If it's something big, physically big, I'll probably go to Costco because they give free shipping to the store and free shipping to the island.
Okay.
So unless it's Prime to Amazon, that's fragile.
I'll also
I go
point
to
out
Costco.
I'll also point out a tidbit of something I found is that when you purchase from most of the online retailers, Costco included, and you have it shipped directly to your house, you may, and I say may, depends on where you're at and how good the governments are, you may only be paying state sales tax and not your county and local taxes.
Hawaii does not let you get away with that.
I don't know that about Hawaii. And I don't know about the city of Chicago either. I'm just saying where I'm at, this is what I've noticed, that when I go and buy a big ticket item, I'm online for, let's say, Costco, which is what I've done, even Menards, same thing. They only charge you the local tax if it's shipped to your house. I'm sorry, they only charge you the state sales tax, not your county or city tax. Bert, you had your hand up.
Yeah, there are, if you deals you see at Target or Walmart for $100 or $200, but you have to be careful because they might still be 720 and not 1080
Right,
resolution, and then you
right.
can't see the ends of the screen. Other than
Definitely
that,
true.
they work, but you don't get the full width of the picture.
Right.
Just warning.
Regarding the televisions, I got one about a month ago after extensive research. So I went to Target, Best Buy, Costco, and a few other places. They had my criteria. What do I really need? Okay, finally I decided Bluetooth was a major necessary object because there's a wall separating myself from somebody else, and and the TV is on the wall. So when I have it on, it might bother the other persons. So the Bluetooth, I got a portable speakers, right? External speakers, so connected to a speaker, and that's what I'm using. Works real good. But then, and like you said, there's all different categories. I ended up with a Hisense 43-inch. I had a Roku TV 50-inch. Okay, I don't pay for it, so yeah, it's you gotta do a lot of research. And you gotta know what you want. Especially when you buy a computer, what do you need? So it worked out. I'm happy so far.
And by the time you get done with, go ahead.
I have not connected to the network. So every time I turn on, it says, "You're not connected to the network." I don't need it. Okay, we got Dish provided free. So I'm not connected to the network, and so far so good.
That is one way to make a smart TV dumb, is don't connect it up to your network.
Yeah.
It'll really make it mad, but you could just have it connected up to your network in the very beginning and then disconnect it from your network, and then you won't have any telemetry going back and forth. Of course, then you get no streaming either. What's kind of nice on the smart TVs is they rolled a lot of the streaming apps right into the TV, so you don't have to go and buy a Roku, or you don't have to buy an Apple TV, because the app itself is resident on the TV. So it's, it kind of saves you some money, and you can get rid of extra equipment as a point. Anyone else want to comment on this? Ooh.
Well, one of the things I'm considering is I have an Android TV that I bought from Sony a few years ago, and it came with a disappointing version of Android version 9, and they've since upgraded it to Android 10. But Android security updates, last time Sony downloaded a security update for my Android TV was about a year ago. And now I'm thinking about getting from Amazon an Android TV stick that has Android 14 on it, and and just using my TV, but just not using the Android portion of it.
And just use your stick instead.
Yeah.
Well, that's a valid way, because a lot of TVs, or most TVs, are only supported for so many years, and then they stop updating the OS that's on there, or the interface, and in order to keep the TV going longer, you may be best to go with another device, another streaming device, to get you signal, get your information into it. But you should also note, at least from the education or from what I learned when I was shopping for TVs, is that the new TVs don't last as long as the old ones. Obsolescence is already built in. In many cases, the salesman was telling me you should only plan on these TVs lasting about 7 years. What happens with a lot of LCD, or with LCDs just in general, is they dim over time, and because of that, the amount of light that comes out of them is going to be threatened and lessened. So you're going to wind up having to go get a new TV because the output is at so low that you can't see the screen anymore. I don't know when that happens, but this is at least what the salesman was telling me. So part of my decision making was, should I spend a lot of money to buy a real expensive one that's only going to last 7 years, or should I spend less money for one that's still only going to last 7 years?
I'm using a Toshiba TV as a monitor, and I've had this thing like about 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
It may have lost half of its original brightness, but otherwise it is just fine.
It's just but you did state there it has lost some of its brightness.
About half of its original brightness.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. But 15 years is pretty good. You got pretty good use out of it.
In 7 years, it'll usually lose about half the brightness.
Right.
And then either it'll start getting dead pixels and start going bad on you, or if you got a good one, and that's just really a roll of the dice, it'll keep going. It'll just be dimmer and dimmer.
Right.
I've got a newer monitor, and I can sure see the difference.
Bert?
Yeah, I would, recommend getting the Roku devices. They're almost free. I mean, they had them on sale at Black Friday for $18, but maybe they're normally 25 or 30. There's a lot of features on there that are excellent as an add-on to whatever your TV does. And the price is cheap enough that, it gives you a lot of extra facility. They do set it up so they want you to sign up for some other services, but they have tons of stuff on there that are just free. All those old kind of programs, and you basically you can't go wrong for $30 or less as an add-on.
Anyone else want to talk on this subject? Yes, Wayne.
Yeah, the one about
Wayne.
yeah, the one about how often should you reboot your modem?
Oh, okay. New subject.
Just a quick comment.
Yes.
The next time I go down, I'm just gonna call
Okay.
it and wish everybody a Merry Christmas if I don't see you at the next meeting. Because it's crazy over on this side.
It's all that warm water lapping at your shores.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's not. It's cool here today. It's in the 70s. We've got the trades in today, so they're coming in from California across that cold front.
Oh, this is interesting in this article here. They say there's no specific or scientific answer to the question how often you should reboot it, but I have found that rebooting does definitely solve a lot of issues that kind of build up over time. Let's see, do they state here? While daily reboots aren't necessary, a regular routine might help.
I do mine monthly.
Monthly? I'd say that's about similar to me.
Yeah.
With my Comcast, I do restart it, and I restart it when I do about once a week. I program everything that I'm going to record for the week. I reboot about that time, usually late at night when nothing's recording. And that's just so that I will get any firmware update that there may be.
Are you saying you reboot the router once a week?
Well, mine's a gateway. It's a combination.
Right, that's what I meant, yeah.
Yeah, the router. Because Comcast periodically sends updates, and they include the update for the guide, for the program guide, so that you have accurate programming information and can program correctly.
Yeah.
And since that happens once a week, it's just a total full system reboot.
Because I thought I was doing it often by doing it every 2 months, but maybe I should do it more often.
You know, it's really,
You can separately reboot the gateway. I misspoke on that. You can reboot the box. You can reboot the gateway. I reboot the box once a week, and the gateway maybe a couple of times a month at most. And that's because I will notice my phone service, my VoIP starts to deteriorate.
so they state here that you know, one of the reasons I would recommend rebooting your router is that if it got infected with a malware, the simple solution to getting rid of that is reboot it, because often they're more like a TSR. They terminate and stay resident, or they're ones that they're not in the flash memory. They're just loaded up in and running. And if you reboot the system, you can get rid of that malware that could be on your system that's making your router into a bot or a keystroke collector or something like that.
So what's your experience been with frequency?
I would say it's probably monthly for me. It's more of there's an issue, the network has slowed down, and I'm running around to go and reboot the system. And it's not that I do it like on the first of the month or the last day of the month. I don't do it on a schedule. It's more of when I think about it. And often when I do it, I have to go and turn off and turn on my access points that are in the house, even though they'll get refreshed, but I will make sure that I reboot those units too, because I have 2 other access points that are in my house that I utilize. So I'll have to make sure I go to those and reboot those units.
Mine to do it automatically because with the power structure here on the island, about once a month a storm or a high situation comes through and knocks out the power for it.
Well, that'll reboot everything all by
And when
itself.
the power goes down, they reboot. So
Right.
Yeah, but the trouble is, if the power goes down and then comes back up and weird things happen with the electricity, that can leave your router in a very weird condition where it's not fully rebooted.
Yeah.
And
but
that can leave you with.
I'm a wireless gateway, since I'm a wireless gateway, it's either going to go all the way or it's not going to go at all.
Well, in your case, that probably is true. But for those of us where it comes in through a cable or it comes in through fiber optic, that would definitely be a possibility of your equipment being left half rebooted.
If I was under that stance, manually reboot it to start up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to comment on this subject?
All your PCs.
Okay, great question. Shall we go on to the next one? Okay, I see everyone's eagerly picking up something, so I just pull up this one article here.
Well, there's one I see that how to easily search through all your tabs. I often have a lot of tabs open, so that's kind of sounds interesting.
Okay, let me look at that one.
It's from the top, maybe 3 or 4 down.
Tim should know this one.
I have a tab search extension loaded.
Ooh,
that lets me, if I have 100 tabs open across 4 windows, I can type in a keyword and it will tell me, what tabs have that keyword open in them, and I can switch to that tab.
Yeah, what's that? What is that, Drew, that you use for that?
I'm gonna get you the name of it right now.
Oh, it's a
Or maybe
video.
what Sanford is bringing up.
It's a
Yeah.
video.
I don't know.
Is
Oh,
called
we'd have to watch this video. And I probably should have done
it's
something.
called Find My Tab.
Okay.
Find my tab. Okay.
Let's look for that one. Find my tab. Locate your Samsung devices. Phone. Is that an app?
No, I'm gonna go
I
into
Plug
Chrome
it.
Web
go into my
Store.
browser and
Is this for Chrome?
yes, I'm
Oh.
I'm using Google Chrome or any Chrome variant. And
It's not available. It violated the standards.
What's
I'm using it because I have it loaded. You can't get it anymore.
Right.
Oh,
Let's see what
what
Softonics says about it.
what did it violate? That doesn't sounds kind of innocuous to me.
No.
Find my tab. Let's see whether Softonics still has it.
Find My Tab. Yeah, it's here. I have it installed. And it says here in my
Yeah,
browser, this extension may soon no longer be supported because it doesn't follow best practices by Chrome extensions.
that's right.
That basically means that Chrome is moving to a new advertising platform, and a lot of and a new version 2 to version 3 of their coding. And a lot of the ad blocking extensions and this particular Find My Tab extension take advantage of features that are available that they don't want you using anymore. So it's a Google thing, not a it's not that it's doing anything harmful. It's that it's using technology that Google wants to take away from the ad blockers.
Yes. This is one reason why I don't use list-based ad blockers. They do
So
not conform.
last year at this time, I switched to a Windows-based ad blocker that I bought on Black Friday last year, and I bought a 5-year license, and it runs when Windows boots up, and it installs as if it was its own little network, and it runs in the system tray, and you don't have to load anything in any of your browsers. It just automatically blocks all the advertising from all of your browsers all at once.
What happened, Sanford, on the one that you were bringing up? Was that one something wrong with that one?
The article actually wasn't an article. It was a link to a video where the person was discussing it. And due to copyright problems, I don't want to be showing an unauthorized video in our video with audio. So I pulled away from that.
Now, I can't speak for how good this is, but there is an extension now in the Chrome Web Store called Search All Tabs, which does conform.
Search all tabs.
Yes. Search All Tabs. It's an extension. I don't know what it does. I don't know how good it is. It does have screenshots.
Tab manager. Perspective name. Manager.
Let me copy its ID and put that into chat. There it is.
Linux drivers for AMD radio. No, that's not it.
No, it's the bottom one. It's the one that starts with Chrome Web Store
There you go. That's the one.
at 212150.
.io. That's the other one I have. There's one called tabmanager.io.
Yeah?
That's very good at finding tabs that you'd like to switch to.
Tabmanager.io.
And there's a preview video to watch on that.
All right, that's an extension, yes. And there it is.
So it got 4.6 stars rating out of 59 people.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't know if that's a good rating or bad.
The one that I'm looking at, the one that I have installed, has a 4.0 rating with 6,000 users.
Wow.
I added that URL way down at the bottom of chat.
Is that one being discontinued, the one you're using?
No.
No, it's fine. Tabmanager.io. It is an extension and it looks perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm distracted. A dog is trying to walk by me, with getting caught up with all my wires and everything. He's caught. Sorry. Here's a big dog. Okay. Sorry about that. Mechanical difficulties. Okay, declare your workspace to become more productive. Wow, this is nice. All-in-one tab manager extensions for managing your crowded browser windows. So we know that Tim and Drew have lots of tabs open all the time.
Yes.
Anyone else
I have hundreds.
Open all the time?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. You're monitoring a lot of stuff.
I'm disregarding a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Because if you have that many open, or how many can you actually have in front of your eyeballs? Only one at a time.
Right.
I just toss everything into bookmarks.
Yeah, huge bookmark. So
bookmarks are getting to be passe according to some people, and my own personal experience was with bookmarks. You put them in and tend to forget the majority of them.
That's exactly what I do. That's exactly what I do until the day comes when I need it. When I need that particular thing.
Well,
and you know what's going to kill off bookmarks? Microsoft Windows Recall.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on that, but that's
what is being proposed as the thing that's killing off bookmarks.
Well,
it's
what
the
I
next
do.
Yeah.
Instead of bookmarking pages now, I take a web clip of them. I use either Joplin or I'll use Obsidian. Obsidian is a very lightweight note-taking app that has an excellent web clipper. And if you go to a web page that you are interested in, the Obsidian web clipper extension for any browser will document the URL, the date it was created, the date the content was authored. It gives you a nice little summary of the web page at the top of the article, and then it gives you the entire article. So with all of the live hyperlinks. So you don't have to worry about what computer you bookmarked it in, what browser you bookmarked it in. You have it in a database that you synchronize amongst all your devices, and you can always search for what you're looking for. That's why I've gone away from bookmarks.
Tim, how do you navigate all your tabs that you have open?
I have a couple tools. One puts them to sleep the way I want to put them to sleep, as well as automatic ones as well. But I use a different extension tool that basically keeps a running list of all your windows and all the tabs within those windows with the URL. And if restore doesn't work when I have to restart a computer or something like that, I just bring up that tab extension and I go out there and open each window one at a time, giving it enough time to bring everything up correctly for that window. And I've had as many as 14 windows open. I've been over 1,400 tabs. I must be doing something right.
Wow. That's a lot of tabs.
You've got the bandwidth.
Pardon?
I'm glad you have the bandwidth.
No, most of them.
If I have about 6 tabs open,
Well, I only have maybe 4 to 6 tabs that are open. Everything else is asleep. That means the content is not there. Just the tab, the title, and URL. That's all it's kept.
so you're basically using them like a bookmark with a different app.
Figuratively speaking, yes. And
So I have all my bookmarks in folders on the taskbar, not on the browser bar. So when I bookmark something, I bookmark it into a folder so it's subdivided. So if I want something for model trains, I go to the top and I hit the model train tab in the lower bar, and then it brings up all the bookmarks for that with the browsers next to them. Then I can go to that. So if I go to trains, I can go to my file downloads, I can go to my manuals, I can go to everything else, but I've only got one placeholder up on the top of the window.
Well, mine also allows me to do saves of all my current windows so that essentially I can make backups. I can make selective backups as well. It's a pretty versatile tool.
Yeah. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, whatever's comfortable for you.
Okay, shall we go on to a new topic?
I wanted to remind people that things are changing. So maybe you can find all these things in your machine with Copilot or Chat GPT.
This is true.
That's true. But the thing is, I've got this machine, then I have the Linux box, or I'm talking to you on the Linux box. I have a Windows box next to it. I have a Windows box at the school, which is a Windows 11, and I have 2 Windows boxes at work. And since I'm using Chrome browser with the same login to the browser all those bookmarks are across all of those machines.
That can get confusing.
Yeah.
And it's also because
But
of
luckily, I can't be in two places at once.
the AIs are what's killing off, by and large, the bookmarks themselves.
The one thing now, maybe somebody else can correct me on this, but so far I have not seen AI developed software such as ChatGPT or Copilot or any of the others that will search or look internally in your computer for the answer. They'll look externally on the web, but they won't look internally.
All you have to do is go out and buy a Copilot Plus PC. That has the NPU that can use your local internal storage.
Okay. So you have to get the new systems to be able to do something like that.
Spend anywhere between $600 or more for a new PC that has this capability. And the current ones are only ARM-based laptops. But anytime now, we should start seeing the Intel AMDs also on the market with their NPUs in them. But most people don't need it, so why bother with it unless you're in a certain situation where it becomes cost effective to have the system with an NPU in it.
And of course, there are always these enhanced local search utilities that we've been using since forever. One that comes to mind is Copernic, but there are others that are more recent.
There's, if you want to search your own system
Yeah,
and have a thorough, fast one, use everything.
everything, yeah.
Yeah.
And also Ransack.
Ransack is a good program to have because it can do something that everything can't do, which is scan the contents of documents.
I've not heard of this one.
Called Agent Ransack.
Agent Ransack, yes.
Is that freeware?
There is a free version, yes.
Yeah.
And everything is free too.
Okay, finding files that other search engines miss. Yep, they've got a free version. Ransack. Agent Ransack.
Yeah, Agent Ransack.
Will that search an external drive that you've attached to your machine?
Yes, it will.
Yeah, if it's attached to the machine, it'll find stuff.
This will scan anything, any drive you have.
Will it search inside? When you say inside documents, would you mean even like Excel files or
Yes.
Yeah.
Excel files, Word files, PDFs.
What about photos?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Yeah, that one's a tough one because I'm waiting for an AI software similar to what Apple does, where they can automatically tag your photos if a certain person's in them or scene or something like that to make them searchable. Considering I got so many tens of thousands of photos on my server, I'd like to be able to do that, compile that, and organize that in a different fashion. But I'm looking for software that could do it. Any suggestions? No. Okay. The other software you said was called what?
Everything.
Everything?
Yeah, everything.
Everything. Just bear with me. Writing that down.
Everything is a very handy tool to have.
That there's a lot of people that think Microsoft should buy out everything and use it instead of what it's been using for a long time, that's slow as molasses and doesn't cover everything.
I think I found this. Boy, this came up pretty good. I thought it was going to be something else.
It's from Void Tools.
Right.
Yeah, I've used everything, and I'm surprised it's very fast. It's very fast.
Everything.
And that's not joking when it says everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the problem, is that unless you can be very, very specific in what you're looking for, the more general of a search that you are doing, you get tons of files that have nothing to do with what you are wanting. So you have to look through all this stuff to find the actual file that contains what you want.
The other thing that everything does, and all these other search things do, is it will monitor for file system changes. If anything changes, it'll notice it.
What I really like is if you look on the screen that Sanford has, look down there where it says searching, and the third one down says, how do I use wildcards? So if you just know part of the name of a file, you can use like wildcards to fill in letters that you don't know what they are.
Right.
Yeah, I do that with all kinds of search tools.
Yeah, I like that. That really works well.
Yeah, it's the old DOS way of doing things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this looks like an interesting product. I'll have to review this and see
I've
how
been
this
using
works.
it for several years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also will work on a fat volume like maybe a flash drive.
It's
I've been using it for years, and you got a lot of, you can filter, so you can really
Wow.
do a lot with it. So I enjoy it.
It says it can index 120,000 files in 1 second.
Yep,
A million would take about a minute. Wow,
That-
that is fast.
that is hardware dependent, but yes.
Yeah, it's
but
really
that's
fast.
part of the reason why some people who do know and use everything believe that Microsoft should buy it out and use it on Windows, because what
So-
they've got on Windows isn't worth using.
So those in our group that actually use this, give me an exact example of how you would use this one different than Windows search through File Manager.
Oh, it works in some ways in a similar fashion. You have a search bar, you put in your search value, whatever it is, and hit the enter key, and it'll find you files you didn't even know existed.
So it's a little more thorough, is what you're saying.
Yes, but that thoroughness also means you have to look through a lot of files. Like it'll bring up DLL files, which you're not concerned about. It doesn't, unless you can be more specific, such as a .docx file that I'm looking for, or an Excel file I'm looking for. Things to narrow it down. You get a ton of stuff that's just unreal, and you have to look through it to find the one that you're actually looking for. So that's a negative, but it also depends on what you remember of what you're looking for and how specific you can be about it. If you, the more specific you are, it'll find it in a blink of an eye, so to speak. But the more general you are, the more you're going to have a lot of files that mean nothing to you because they're not an exe file, a com file, a PDF file, a doc, Excel, PowerPoint, whatever like that, and or a JPEG versus a PNG versus a TIFF file for photos. MP3 for music, etc.
Yeah, like Sanford, you were talking about photographs. Like, do you have file names on all your photographs then? Descriptive file names or no?
You're saying file names as in John Doe at the park type of
Yeah,
file
something like
name
that.
versus image
Right,
underscore 123.
right.
Most of mine are set up as the latter.
Okay.
They're because I don't take the time to rename all my photos.
Right.
Because you were saying, anybody think of any software, but if you gave them names, boy, this would really work well for you.
Sure,
Well-
sure. Names would make it easier, but that's in my case is they got to look at the images themselves
Yep.
and
Dennis?
determine what's in there.
Dennis, specifically, there are a lot of programs out there, including in Power Toys, that allow you to do bulk renaming. So basically, let's say you had 100 photographs from a wedding you attended of a nephew, and maybe the nephew's name, and the year and month it occurred in, you'd have that name in place of the camera's ID. And it would still have the extension of either a JPEG, a PNG, or something like that.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, the suggestion that usually shows up is to use Google Images.
Yes.
Happy. Bye, Harry. Okay.
Mhm.
Harry had to leave.
Yeah.
Okay, next subject. Yes, Bert, you're muted. Bert, you're muted. Go ahead.
Larry. I received some problem with pictures. We were talking about pictures, and it was an HELV format,
Yeah.
and I had to get a program to convert it.
That's Apple's format, and there are adaptations you can add to your Windows system that will translate them as though they're a JPEG or a PNG.
Well, they charged me $1.
Oh man, that's 99 cents too much for you.
I wonder if VLC would have displayed that. You couldn't, so you had to buy an app just to view the picture?
No, it's
Yeah.
a program. There are programs out there that'll do conversion, or some will add that capability to view them in your current Windows system, which doesn't support Apple images. And what you can also do with some of that is look at OrphanView. That's a photo viewer and might be able to handle the Apple images.
Is that still
I
updated?
thought I had a program for it before, but it wouldn't work anymore. So maybe it was outdated.
Probably.
They got a buck from you.
Now, did you say it was one of these HEIC type of formats?
HELV, I think.
Oh, ATL. ATLV, that's different.
Into something like that lately, where I capture YouTube videos with a screen type recorder, so that I can, because the kids can't get YouTube at school. And last year I could just use the standard format that it put out, which put out an MP4 sound file along with the video. And now I take that same video over to the school with the Windows 11. Now all of a sudden that audio format is no longer supported on Windows 11 for all my old videos.
You might want to get a copy of
So I had
VLC.
to recapture them.
Peter
I had to
just get
recapture that, change my
Peter
recording
just
software.
Peter just get VLC, it'll do it.
Yep.
Also, Pete, are you doing a capture or are you downloading those videos?
I'm doing a capture.
Have you tried using something like 4K downloader? There's downloading programs that you can actually download the YouTube videos directly through that, and it gets the video and the audio synced up together.
Right.
Yeah, I use a program called YouTube Downloader.
YouTube Downloader is another one, yes. And those are free products. And that would be the route I would go, is I would download those, use that program to download it. And then you get an MP4.
When you say something used to work and now it doesn't work, I guarantee you somebody somewhere will always come up with a solution that works.
Well, I've got it working because I just changed the file format extension in the program I'm using, and it works. I just had to do a switch and then redo what I'd have to do with any other program, redo them. Just wanted to let you know that some of your old stuff may not work in Windows 11 if you've captured it, because they removed support for certain codecs in 11.
Right, but
And it's a codecs problem.
and if it's a codex problem, there are plenty of downloads for adding codexes of almost anything that's out there.
So
there is a problem with ATL. It's not an official format. There are at least two different ones, one of which is Aladdin and another one is Artlantis, and neither of them is ATLV. I don't think that's a real format.
So YouTube Downloader, here's a website. You just plug in the URL right in here, and it'll find the video and download it. Here, let me go to one of our videos, and we'll pull up this one, and then I'll stop, and I'll copy this here to here. Everyone see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just copied that. I'm not a robot.
You sure?
Oh, buy views. This one you got to pay for, I think. Let me go to somewhere else. Find video. Video not found. Ha 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 ha.
It has a shopping cart in the corner.
That's really encouraging. I just copied it from here. How could this not be found? Control C. Control V. Find video. Yeah, YouTube services. Yeah, this one here, okay, we'll go somewhere else. Because
I just use the 4K video downloader.
Yeah, that's the one I use, 4K video downloader.
That resides locally.
Yes. And I think I already have this on my PC. Let me stop sharing my screen till I find this. Oh, there it is, right there.
IT downloader. Yeah.
All right, and nobody can see this unless I share the screen. Oh.
Well, I found that it has an update.
Yep, there's an update.
But I'm not going to install that, and I'm going to do a skip. And then you select the service. And it'll usually be the YouTube.
All right, so here I'm going to paste the link. Hopefully it's going to work.
Well, it's trying to do something.
It shouldn't take this long. Normally this works like 1, 2, 3.
When you're running Zoom, you're really straining your system resources.
This is true. I am straining it.
You're hosting it, and that means it's taking more than the rest of us on the same Zoom
Hmm.
on your computer.
Okay, so this isn't working for me here. Maybe somebody else want to pull it up. Bob, you've got 4K downloader, right?
Yeah,
Just pull it up and just copy and paste a link to it and show us how it works.
just a minute and I will find it. It'll take me a little while to get to where I want to. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find this quickly enough.
I suspect mine problem is because I'm not updated.
No, really, Zoom is really consuming a heck of a lot of your computer's resources.
This is true.
I mean, I shut down most everything on mine. I reboot twice and bring up a browser I only use for the meetings. Keep it very light as I can.
Now, let me see if I can find. Here's a playlist. And West Suburban. And let's see. Well, here's one from 2021, and that's not the one I want. Well, anyway, it's going to take me too long to figure this out. Never mind. I'm not going to figure it out.
Yeah, and I'm trying to do it on mine, and I keep error. It's just taking forever. So, anyways, normally this 4K downloader, you paste in the link, it downloads it. It gives you a couple options on resolution you want to use, and then it downloads and makes it into an MP4 file and stores that locally on your hard disk.
By the way, YT Downloader, at least for Linux, is no longer being supported. There is a different one that superseded it called Video Downloader.
I have one that I'm going to put in the chat right now that has a snap version and a flat hub version.
Yeah.
And it's
several.
called YT Downloader.
Yeah.
And it's on GitHub. And it's also available for Linux. This is the one that I use when I need to.
Me too.
Hope that helps you out, Pete.
This first one that I put here is an online downloader. So I posted 2 links. One of them is an online website that doesn't require that you install anything, and the second one has an installer.
Okay.
And it's good
The one that's on GitHub is tried and true. I can attest to it. The first one I can't.
And I've been using 4K video downloader for years, and I've had no issues with it until tonight. So I don't know what to say about that one.
And as soon as the meeting's over with, it'll probably work just fine.
It'll probably work just fine. It probably has to do with all the video that's going on right now. So does anyone, so we covered this one pretty good. Hopefully, Pete, we helped you out with that. Does anyone have any last questions for the group? We are reaching our 9 o'clock hour, and I will state that in January, there will not be a West Side meeting because it's January 2nd.
Yeah, but you could take the 7th because there's nothing there either.
I'll think about that as we get into closer to January. And with that, I'd like to conclude our meeting tonight. Goodbye, everybody, and have a happy
I'm
New
going
Year.
to say aloha.
And oh, Tim, what's the next club meeting?
The next one is South Suburban a week from tonight. And then on Thursday, the 19th, is the Lennox SIG.
Okay. And I'd like to remind everybody here, we do have a YouTube channel. If you missed any part of the meeting or you want to recap it or watch some of our other meetings, we have over 100 and plus meetings recorded, sessions recorded on our YouTube channel. That is the Chicago Computer Society on YouTube. The playlist is located, a link to the playlist is located in the email that you received tonight for this meeting. With that, I'd like to wish everybody a happy New Year's.
Okay.